What's up, guys? I'm Chris Spags here, back with another Four Corners for today's 9-game MLB main slate, courtesy of Osmo.com. It's Thursday, guys, and yesterday we didn't get any double donks, so I think today we need to really combine our forces and powers, and maybe together, if you guys all hit that like button, and also if you want to win a free month of Osmo Plus, like the video and comment your double donk pick down below. Maybe we can get some double donks going today on this shorter slate. So right now, please like the video and comment those double donk picks down below. But for now, let's get on to our first corner on today's slate, the top pitching, and Garrett Cole going against Detroit to be the top owned option industry-wide. Cole gets 2.4 implied runs against him, which are slate low, and is expected to be the #1 owned pitcher on DraftKings with 47%, on FanDuel with 34%, and on Yahoo with 55%. Much like Justin Verlander yesterday, Cole is a massive favorite with a 37% K rate and a 2.8 xFIP versus a Detroit team with a 27% aggregate K rate and a 147 ISO versus right-hand pitching. Even though Justin Verlander didn't get the win yesterday, he still had a massive performance. It's another nice spot here for Cole, a pitcher who's actually been better on the year than Verlander. I like the spot for him, and I imagine I'll be paying up for him right along with the field today. Kenta Maeda versus Toronto should also find some ownership today with 3.7 implied runs against him. Maeda will be #2 owned on DraftKings with 39%, on FanDuel with 16%, and on Yahoo with 35%. Maeda is still mostly not pitched deep in games, but his 26.3% K rate and 1.1 whip is appealing at a lower price industry-wide, despite 7 hitters over a 205 ISO versus right-hand pitching in Toronto's lineup. I'm very in on the Garrett Cole chalk, but I'm much less in on the Kenta Maeda chalk. He could pitch 2 innings, he could pitch 4 innings, he could pitch 7 innings. You really don't know where he's going to land. I think that risk there makes him a little bit too owned today. And Aaron Civale at the Mets should also find some ownership in some spots with 4.3 implied runs against him. Civale will be #3 owned on DraftKings with 27%, but less owned elsewhere. Civale has been serviceable in a limited MLB sample size with a 1 whip and a 24% carry with no home runs allowed, though hitters like Michael Conforto and Pete Alonso over a 130 WRC plus versus right-hand pitching could cause issues. Civale hasn't missed bats well with just an 8.6% swinging strike rate, so I think some of these numbers could come down. That said, his price is appealing here, so I imagine I'll have a good amount of exposure today on DraftKings. And now it's our next corner, the top stacks on the slate, and the Tampa Bay stack versus Asher Wojciechowski should be very popular today. Tampa Bay gets 5.8 implied runs, and they project to be mega chalk versus Woj's 279 ISO and 15% barrel ball rate in a positive hitting park. Reasonable prices in a game at Baltimore are big reasons to like Tampa Bay, but Woj's 27% carry gives him a chance to blow up what looks like it'll be a really highly owned stack. You can't ignore the opportunity going against Woj with the power that he's given up, but I do think Tampa Bay is a bit overowned. Even though this does seem like a nice spot, I would imagine coming under the field on them with what looks like really high ownership for a 9-game slate. And a Dodgers stack versus Jacob Waguespack will also be popular today with 5.8 implied runs for them. The Dodgers will be highly owned again, with Waguespack posting a poor 5.1 xFIP with just an 18% K rate in a limited 2019 sample size. Waguespack's been worse versus right-handed batters with a 6.1 xFIP and 250 ISO allowed compared to a 2.9 xFIP and 0.052 ISO to left-handed batters, but the Dodgers' big hitters with a 228 ISO versus right-hand pitching could be a different story. With those splits, going just to righty bats on the Dodgers could be a move here to differentiate a stack, but it does seem like it's worth having some exposure to the lefties because Waguespack cannot keep up those numbers against a really competent lefty-hitting Dodgers team. And an Atlanta stack versus Sandy Alcantara should also find some ownership today with 6 implied runs for them, which is a slate high. Alcantara has a bad 5.7 xFIP and 16% K rate, but he has limited power well with a 163 ISO allowed. It's a warm day in Atlanta, and they project well, with Matt Joyce expected to be highly popular on FanDuel due to this discount pricing there. Alcantara gets a big park downgrade here, but the spot here does look a bit overowned. I imagine it's going to come down to me for ownership as we get closer to lock, because if they're highly owned, I'm probably not going to be there. If they're lower owned, I imagine I'll come over the field on Atlanta. And now onto our next corner, the lower owned options on the slate, and a Texas stack going against Ross Detweiler interests me. Texas gets 5.3 implied runs, and Detweiler's been brutal with a 1.6 whip, 281 ISO allowed, and just a 14% K rate that can give up production to any team. Texas does struggle some versus left-handed pitchers with a 26% K rate, but they also have a 199 ISO that should at least find mini stack production going against Detweiler. Texas is pretty expensive today, but the spot versus Detweiler looks like a good one. They are getting a park down right here, not being in the hot Texas weather, but it's still a really good spot overall with a power park in Chicago. And Mike Soroka versus Miami also interests me, as with 3.5 implied runs against him. Soroka pitches relatively deep into games with a 1.1 whip and a 0.090 ISO allowed. He's a cheaper pivot to Cole and the returning Max Scherzer. Soroka projects better than Herman Marquez at a lower price point and faces a Miami team with Brian Anderson's 160 ISO as the best in their projected lineup, so this does seem like a good spot for Soroka. It's hard to pay that premium price for a guy who doesn't have great strikeout ability. I would certainly rather go up to Garrett Cole, but I think Soroka is a nice pivot at a slightly cheaper price. And a Houston stack versus Jordan Zimmerman is also a bit interesting interesting with 5.6 implied runs for them. Houston disappointed as a stack versus Daniel Norris, but Zimmerman is even worse with a 216 ISO allowed going back to last year. Zimmerman's 2019 5.2 xFIP and 10% barrel ball rate offer a shot for a Houston stack who won't be highly owned due to their sky-high prices. Houston's disappointed a bit in this Detroit series, but I think the spot is another good one for them on paper going against Zimmerman. I'm okay going to them today without much ownership expected. And Ariel Hirado at the White Sox is also a cheap guy to go to today with 5.3 implied runs for him. Hirado gets a park upgrade against the White Sox team with just 2 hitters over a 100 WRC plus versus right-hand pitching in their lineup and a 26.3% K rate on the year. To be clear, Hirado is not good with a 16.4% K rate and 10.3% barrel ball rate, but his 4.9 xFIP isn't terrible at his price, and he's a cheaper pivot to a chalk Aaron Savali. Hirado is not an impressive pitcher, but the White Sox are not an impressive team, so it could be a good spot for him at a very cheap price today. And now on to our last corner of the one-offs, and Elvis Andrus versus Ross Detweiler jumps out to me. Hunter Pence and Danny Santana's big power is more appealing, but they're overpriced, while Andrus is cheap with just a 13% K rate versus left-hand pitching. They give him a shot versus the very bad Ross Detweiler. There isn't much great righty value in that Texas lineup, but I do think going to Andrus is one move you can make there to try to capture that production without paying those steep prices that the other guys have. And Matt Joyce versus Sandy Alcantara looks good as a one-off, but only on FanDuel. Joyce at 2100 projects to be highly chalky, but with Alcantara worse versus left-handed batters with a 5.5 xFIP and 13.3% K rate, Joyce looks like a solid play, especially for cash. Sometimes you gotta just take the value that's there, and Matt Joyce at that price on FanDuel looks too good to avoid against Alcantara, who is appreciably worse versus left-handed batters. And Austin Meadows versus Asher Wojciechowski also looks good as a one-off. Meadows will be highly owned, but is in the leadoff spot with a 209 ISO and a 123 WRC+, with Woj allowing a 7.2 xFIP and 357 ISO to left-handed batters with the 97 lefties that he's faced this year. I do think Woj has some talent, and I imagine he'll have some exposure today given how chalky the Rays are looking, but the spot here does seem like a good one with the power that he gives up, and Meadows is really well equipped to take advantage today at Baltimore. So there we have it. Those are my thoughts on today's slate. So right now, please like the video, and also if you want to win that free month of Awesemo Plus, like the video and comment your double dong pick down below. Again, we had no double dongs yesterday, so we got to make up for it today, but maybe with our combined powers, if we all hit that like button extra hard and wish as hard as we can, we could find one today. So right now, please, if you want to win that free month of Awesemo Plus, like the video and comment your double dong pick down below. But hey, you're an independent person. You're not subject to the whims of Major League Baseball and their amount of double dongs they're giving out. So if you are that guy or lady, you can also use this promo code Switch and Hedge for half off your first month of Awesemo Plus. You get all the ownership projections, the player projections, the deep dive column, the lineup builder, the top stacks tool, a million different things that'll help you make better MLB DFS lineups every single day. So use that promo code Switch and Hedge right now for half off your first month of Awesemo Plus. Go follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Chris Spags. I'm here with you guys every day, and all my content funnels through my Twitter account. So if you want to keep up with what I'm doing both in DFS and elsewhere, go check me out on Twitter and Instagram at Chris Spags. I'll be back on Live Before Lock later today, so subscribe to that notification bell to know when we go live. I'll be on there the next 3 days, so get your doses of me as much as you can before I go on vacation next week. But either way, I'll be back tomorrow with another Four Corners video. So thank you guys for watching, and of course, good luck.